Hi guys, welcome back. So I was wearing this super cute sweater, but I changed because I was really hot because it's the summer. So I picked the obvious choice to simply change into another sweater. So it's LilliethShadows here and welcome back to another video. Can you guys believe it? I am posting a video a week after I posted my other video. This is crazy for me. I am never consistent with my videos and don't expect me to continue going forward because I have no idea even what to post next. So really good at consistency, guys. Okay, well, anyway, getting into the point of this video, I was like scrolling through the internet as one does, and I found these like super cute kind of pants. I'll show you some examples like right here or like right here or like up here, and they're so cute, but every single one was so expensive or not exactly what I wanted. So I was like thinking through and I was like, I've been wanting to get better at my sewing skills anyway, so why not just sew a pair of pants? So that's what we're gonna do in this video. So I have some previous sewing experience a little bit, not really. I've taken like one kind of class that like covered a bunch of stuff and one of them was sewing. So I know the basics, but I'm not great. And I'm going to be using my aunt's sewing machine that she lent to us because she's so nice. And it's a little old, so it's a little funky, but it does its job. And yeah, let's get into it, y'all. Okay, hi everybody, welcome to the floor of my room where we are going to be creating the pattern for these patchwork sweatpants. I don't know what type of pants to call them. Patchwork hippie pants, boho, you know, that kind of pair of pants. So to make the pattern, I'm actually going to use a pair of sweats I already own. The reason I'm using these ones is because they fit me well, and I also like that they're not like tight to your skin. They're like a good size. And I think they'll look good with the kind of style I want, so that's the reason I'm doing it. And something I have learned from watching YouTube videos, because I barely have any sewing experience by myself, is that when you are doing the pattern, make sure to stretch out any place that has elastic in it, because when you are sewing and you go to put in the elastic on your new project, they're not going to fit you if you don't account for that in the fabric. So make sure to stretch them out and make them bigger than what they look like, or you're not going to fit in your pants. So that's good advice. And then also, I don't have like big enough paper to make a pattern that's going to fit out the pants, so I'm just going to take a bunch of printer paper and tape them together and then cut it out, because that's the best for what I have with my resources. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, I present to you supplies. Yay! So these are scissors, left-handed scissors to be specific, because I'm left-handed, and I just have to talk about that they're left-handed because they're brand new, and this is kind of the first time in my life since I was like really little that I've had left-handed scissors, because I had little good ones and then I outgrew them, and I have used right-handed scissors since, and they take some time getting used to just because they're different, but oh my gosh, they feel so much better on your hands. And sorry you're getting a glare in my face, but yeah, so I have to geek out about that. Then I have just a simple pencil to trace, tape to tape my paper, and a bigger stack of paper than I probably need, but that's okay, because yeah, but let's do this. Okay, here's my finished pattern. If you can even see it, sorry it's a little hard to see, but yeah, as you can see, the ends I made sure to make wide and then include the little crotch area. And the person I was watching the video for, she just used it for every single side. She said if you wanted to, you could do like a back and a front, but I don't think I'm going to do that. Maybe, I'm not sure, but I don't think I will. I am back a few minutes later because I have been watching some videos, and it occurred to me that some people have been using like parchment paper for like baking as a thing to use to make your patterns, and I feel like that is way smarter than taping together a bunch of paper, and will probably be easier to pin. So I'm going to use this as a practice round, and I'm going to try again, but this time on a paper that will be a bit easier because I made a mistake. This is why it is important when you're doing something you don't know how to do to watch professionals do it, please. Okay, hello. I am back for a part 2. So I now have plastic coated freezer paper from the kitchen. I stole it from my mom. Thank you, Mom, for letting me use your freezer paper. And I have also decided to switch my pants to these PJ pants because I feel like they are a little less defined than my sweats and may work better. They're also men PJ pants, so I can trust that they're not going to be as sewn to fit like a curve, which I think for a beginner is better because I don't want to have to deal with kind of the curviness of the female body. And so yeah, and also because they're longer and I am tall, and my biggest pet peeve is having pants that fit like capri pants, and so these ones actually fit me nice, and so we're gonna go with these guys instead. So let's do this. Try 2. Hi, I'm doing a quick intermission because I have 2 things I want to say real quick. 1, I want to apologize if I am not looking at the camera sometimes because I'm a beginner with recording and I like to look at myself while I record. And 2 is if I talk fast, because I don't think I talk that fast, but I've been watching through these recordings and I feel like I am zooming through. Like, slow the heck down, girlfriend. But yeah, and I guess the 3rd thing is also if you hear huffing and puffing in the microphone or like bad sounds, I apologize because I'm also not used to recording. So yeah, thank you for this little intermission to apologize about my bad recording skills. Hey look, I finally plugged in my light and that makes it way better. So sorry that my recording was sucking before, but yeah, hey. Okay, here is attempt 2, which I would argue looks a lot better, so that's good. These are like the original, and then I went through and just widened, and I went through and widened, so yay! Okay, so when it came to actually getting the fabrics for this pair of pants, I didn't really have to pay for it because that was like the whole point of this excursion, was to save money. And I have a lot of aunts and a lot of them sew, and so I reached out, and one of my very kind aunts who sews a lot and she's freaking amazing was willing to donate like a bunch. I didn't have to use anything else but what she provided for me. Like, she's a freaking saint for this project, so thanks to my aunt. I didn't record picking it up, but here's like an inserted clip of what I did get, and I got some good stuff. And yeah, that's where I got my fabric from. I forgot to mention that this is like the exact same aunt who also lent us her sewing machine, so big thanks to her for allowing me to practically do this entire project. Going into cutting this, I decided to do 6 by 6 inch squares. I believe that's what I did. And then I did a few of them that were 6 by 3, so they could still fit in the kind of grid, but I could kind of get some half sizes. And I completely forgot to record this entire process. I kind of just got into the zone. I was watching a TV show. I've been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That was my TV show while I did this project. And I got really busy watching that and I totally forgot. So yay, good on me. But that is essentially what I spent hours doing. It was very painful. I cut out about 10 of each square, which seemed to be about enough. Later on in this project I have to add a few, but that was a pretty good start. This is the patches that I've cut out. As you can see, this is taking a really long time because from what I can tell, I need about 24 patches per like thing, so I need like 96. So we're gonna be here cutting for a while. Yay! Cut out my pockets. I found this was on one of the fabrics and I thought it'd be cute to include, so it's there. And then I have my piles. So every pile has at least 2 of each color. And then since I did about 10 squares of each color, I had some extras, and so I kind of just sprinkled them in along with a few half pieces, and so it'll be kind of a nice variety of colors. So I didn't end up using all of my fabric choices, but I used a good amount. Okay, so at this point I was pulling out the ironing board to iron some of these because they were really wrinkly. They have probably been folded for like a really long time, so they needed some serious straightening out before I started piecing them all together. So yeah, enjoy a montage of me doing that. Look how cool I am. I even switched up the camera angle halfway through. Ooh. Okay, so now that the ironing was all done, I was starting to put together my pieces and just plan them out. And so you'll see in this montage, not montage, if I'm calling them a montage, sped up video, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, I was doing that, and I got my mom's help on them all, so thanks a lot to my mom. She helped a lot on this project, so big shout out to her. But yeah, enjoy me putting this together. I only recorded the process of like half of the first putting together, and then I don't remember, I deleted the rest of that, and then I just didn't finish them because I didn't feel like I needed a really long video of all of them. You would just get bored. So I didn't do that, but I did take pictures so that I could come back to them later. So I'll insert the pictures right here, right now, so you guys can kind of see what I was going for each piece. These are the finished and like pinned sections, so I pinned them by like the rows, and then I sew the rows, and then I will sew the rows together to create a finished piece. That kind of makes sense. But yeah, these are all pinned together so they're ready to get sewing to. Here's a little video of me showing off one of the completed rows, because I also forgot to record me sewing this because I was watching a TV show. Look at all these annoying pieces of string I kept finding on myself. This project was messy and annoying. So I officially finished sewing all of these panels together for the first side of one of the pants. It's a bit of a pain, and if you flip it over, there are so many strings I have to go cut. And you'll notice that there's like a tiny little bit that just shows through, so I might go try to find like an excess piece from like this or something to just add right here so they all fit. But for the most part, it fits pretty well, so that's good. Okay, so I didn't show the sewing process of the very first pant, which is why you just saw the finished version before I'm going into a sewing speed lapse thing. So yeah, that is why the speed lapse I think was for the second pair of pants I did. And I like to just keep things in chronological order. It's easier for my brain to remember when I'm going through and editing this, so that's why it's the way it is. But yeah, enjoy. I feel like I should probably note kind of the way this process worked for how I was doing this. So as I already said before, I had sewed the rows together, so like each row I sewed together. So here is when I'm sewing these rows all together to make the pant shape. So essentially I lined them all up on my pattern, and then I would take a piece and the piece on top of it, and I would pin them together, and I would sew those together, and then I would put them back on the pattern to make sure they were still lined up well, and take the next piece and pin it and sew it, and just kind of do that throughout the whole thing, constantly making sure I wasn't straying from the pattern too much. I did end up having to sew on some extra pieces to some of the pants, just because when I was actually putting them together, I didn't account for enough space, because obviously once you sew them together, they're going to be shorter than when they were first put together because of a seam allowance, and so I did have to add some extra pieces and just kind of cut them out, but that wasn't a big deal at all. But yeah, so I thought this angle was cool to record from. I don't really know why I recorded from this angle, but essentially right now I am sewing two of the pieces together to create a pant leg. Yeah, this is not a tutorial video, so now in this video I am sewing the crotch together. So after you sew the two pant legs together, you can then sew the crotch, which this is really confusing. I'm not making a tutorial, so if you want a tutorial, I will link the tutorial I used to make these pants in my description, so go check it out, because she did a really good job explaining and I am not doing a very good job. But yeah, there's a good chunk of this video that you'll notice that I just spend fixing the machine, because I had to rethread the bobbin, and this machine likes to just unthread itself entirely. It's a bit of a pain, but yeah, so I spent a good chunk of that and getting my mom's help, because thank you, Mom. So I didn't know what I was doing, but yeah, enjoy the rest of this time lapse. This right here was when I noticed that I had sewed one of the mushroom panels upside down and I was annoyed. This is where I'm picking elastic for the waist and kind of the bottom of my pants, and then you'll also see I have a shoelace because I wanted my pants to be able to be tieable up on the waist, so yeah. Okay, so I was really struggling with sewing the elastic on the waist, so you'll see in this little clip that I have, that is my mom sewing. Thank you, Mom. She essentially took over and finished the waist for me because I was struggling. So much appreciated on that, and that is also why I don't have a lot of recording of me sewing that, because I didn't do it. But yeah, thank you, Mom. I feel like because I didn't record me, or I guess my mom, doing the waistband, I feel like I missed out on a big chunk of doing these pants, because that took like hours. It was probably the most complicated part of these pants. As a general thing, these pants weren't that hard to do. If you know how to sew with a machine, they were a lot easier than I thought. You're just kind of cutting out squares and sewing them together, but probably the sewing the crotch area together, because it's kind of at a curve, and also adding the waistband were probably the two hardest things. So just be aware of that, because they were a bit of a pain. But with all that being said, I have now finished my pants, so we get to go on to the reveal. So enjoy some of my really bad posing. Alright, well, thank you guys so much for joining me in this video, and I hope you enjoyed watching me do these pants, because I had a lot of fun making them, so bye!